In 2013, I was attending 9th grade at my local school in Homs, Syria. And after the bombing got out of hand, and I wasn't sure if I was going to make it to school the next day or not, my mom and I left for Turkey.
How long was the bombing going on before you decided that it was time to
It happened,
leave?
I would say bi-weekly, like either twice in a week or like several nights in a row, or it'd be a few weeks in between each raid and the next. Usually could count on two hands how many shells, they would use mortar shells to hit my area, how many per night. And they were, you could like easily say they were fired at random. Some would hit the street, some would hit buildings. The building right in front of mine was hit and caught fire, which lasted throughout the whole night. Because we keep tanks of oil on our rooftops for heat during the summer. We use oil furnaces for heat. So that fire was just raging throughout the whole night. I finished my 9th grade's final exams. You can say I was tempting fate by staying that long. And then we went straight to Lebanon, crossed the border there from Syria to Lebanon, and we took an airplane from Beirut airport to Istanbul.
Whose bombs were these?
The regime's. Yeah, Assad bombs.
And what do you believe the purpose of
Well, there
this
were
bombing was?
several purposes. For one, it was not uncommon to hear about just armed civilians in the region who were rebels, who were against the regime. My neighborhood was at first safer than other neighborhoods that were bombed, so people would come from those neighborhoods into ours, and soon our numbers swelled. And like maybe weekly demonstration we held would happen several times a week and went from several hundred people to thousands of people. So it put us, the bombing put a stop to the protests because the people were leaving, and the armed rebels would have to move away because they realized that they were putting civilians in danger by staying amongst them. I stayed in Turkey as a student or in between jobs for around 3 years before receiving a scholarship to Friends Select School here in Philly. And with that scholarship, I managed to acquire a student visa, which I used to come here in September of 2016. And after 2 years of high school, I'm about to graduate next month, and I'm going to Bard College in upstate New York next year. My grandparents and aunt and my uncle and his family and the rest of the extended family lives in Syria, but not exactly in Homs. Most of them have left Homs. My grandparents and aunt lived together. They left our house in 2013, like earlier than I did. I had to stick around for the exams. They left earlier. They moved to a safer city. And last year they managed to move back because so many people had left. There was nothing going on in our neighborhood, so it was safer to go back.
And what do you hear from them now?
The situation is more stable in that specific area, but it's not looking great either because there's very little food going in and out. The costs are insane. The price of our currency has dropped significantly. My grandpa cannot work. He was a tailor, and then the market shut down in 2013 after getting bombed, so he can't find work. And my aunt's government job is the only one supporting the household. And then we have family members outside sending us some help.
Is there a solution?
No, not something that I can personally imagine, or nothing that is feasible, especially with how many foreign forces are just mingling and are after their own thing in the area. Like you have Iran, Russia, and Turkey with physical manifestations. They have troops. Russia has the Air Force, as Ms. Rubin was just talking, and Iran has militias going throughout the whole country. Everyone is after their own thing, and no one's really caring about the civilian lives that are endangered in the process. You can't really appease everyone at once so that the fighting would stop, and there's no one right side to support in order for all the violence to stop and the civilian lives to be spared.
Did you personally lose friends or family?
Many, yes. I don't think there's a single household in Syria that hasn't suffered losses.